Yeah.
People do that. That's why there's gyms at these places.
I ain't know that.
These gyms that
My exercise is lifting these bottles like
I exercised. I did yoga. I did meditation on the beach, which is awesome.
wow.
And I roller skated. I bought my skates.
Wait.
I'm skating with
Let's
that
stop
once.
this background right quick. This one you know somebody's
What up,
like
bitch?
for real.
Yeah, I
You
packed.
pack your skates.
Yo, let me tell you how I packed though. So I get my carry-on because my carry-on is my shoe bag.
The carry-on is just the shoes.
Yes, just a shoe.
One.
So I carry my own shoes. He gotta left the suitcase, which is the heaviest one. With all clothes in it. So I packed my skates first, and I packed my shoes around the skates. And the skates got to fit.
She's like, this other stuff might not go. She said, even if I gotta pull up in the party, the whole
Things got to go.
these skates are going.
Yeah, Silk and Suge, congratulations to them. 130 people.
Nice.
Ooh.
The resort was very happy.
I'm sure.
And that's downtime, because everybody travels in the spring and the summer.
All right.
So that's money they wasn't looking to make in the fall, even though it's hot all the time in Mexico. You know what I'm saying? So after all those people left on Tuesday, it was quiet.
Did
I'm
y'all,
sure, yeah.
y'all go outside the resort?
I did one time to do the RVs.
Okay.
Silk didn't. He was working the whole time.
Okay.
But the RVs, though, I had a good time. It was the zoo. I forgot the name of the zoo. And what it is they make their money helping the animals by having a RV tour. So you pay for the ride, and plus you tip everywhere you go. It's like tip. And you go through the whole zoo, and it was really nice. Got to take pictures holding the animals, holding the snake. And,
You did that?
oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I ain't doing
Yeah.
So he turned around and
that.
you was out there petting mamas and
Yep. And then he put us in this water cave. There was like this cave where you could go swim. I didn't do that. I'm not really a good swimmer. But I don't even do that. What's up, Sky? But Mitch told me to tell him about the raccoons and these other crazy animals running around the resort. They got these little weird, I don't know what they were called, but they look like a cross between a rat, a squirrel, and a raccoon. I don't know, with a long time. And then, no, it's not a possum. It wasn't a possum. I'll show you pictures. Then they have monkeys. They have monkeys running around. But they don't but they don't bother anybody. All they want is food.
No.
Like they took my beach bag because I had grapes in it. Now I didn't know grapes had a scent, but anyway. I was in a pool and I was like, oh my God, they took that lady's bag and her husband is fighting it off. Why was it my bag? They was like, it's your bag. I was like, what?
Yo, get out of here.
So then, when I think of got my bag and they left and I took the grapes out. They didn't get the grapes, but then my Apple Watch was in the bag. My Apple Watch was missing the whole trip. They thought it was huge with the joke.
It was like, come on.
Yeah, so when I finally realized it wasn't, I thought maybe it was in my room buried somewhere. So at the end of the day, they found the watch they held it at the pool, lost and found.
Nice.
That's good.
Shouts to them for
The water was really nice. The pool water is nice. The beach water is nice.
It wasn't rough?
No. It was cool. It was really, really nice. Everybody had a good time. There was a party every night. The pool party was the best party. The comedy show with Kenny Williams was good. Thank you, CC. Yeah, it was nice. We had a fun time. They looking forward to Jamaica. So they expect to have double numbers, maybe triple.
Absolutely.
How many people felt?
There was a few. There was a few.
That's what I want to know.
There's a few.
That's crazy question that you asked.
There's a few hookups there, and I can't talk about them.
How many people got piped out?
But there were some people leaving very happy,
All right.
to say the least.
Hey.
So, and a lot of couples were very happy.
All right.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
All right.
Oh, Silk said no, his Saturday night set was the best. Yeah, Saturday night set was really good.
Were there different themes of the parties?
Yeah, the first theme was on the beach. It was the welcoming, meet and greet. That was the theme. Was it was the red, green, and white, the Mexican colors, and then each one had a definition. If you had on red, it meant something. You had on white, that means you was married, coupled up. You had on green, it was a maybe. You could hook up, and all red was like, yeah, we down for whatever.
We out shit. Like you're on red, we out shit.
There was a lot of people wearing red, so it was something like that. Maybe I'm getting the colors mixed up, but whatever all the colors were, we knew everybody was down for whatever. But we had a great time. And then it was we had a pajama party. We had that was nice. We had a touch of pink for breast cancer awareness month party.
Okay.
And there was an R&B night. So it was cool. Oh, so said the green means all gold. It was an all gold.
Again, sounds about right.
And then I missed it up. Whatever.
Green means all go. That means they got the comments.
And the white means you can be swayed.
Yeah.
So all white meant that I might be able to go to your room tonight. I wore all gray colors. I was just messing with everybody.
Yeah, guys are like, I don't know. I was trying to holler, but I didn't know.
DTF.
Right.
And
Meanwhile,
the red meant
Bonnie's
that
on the back
I was taking. But there was a lot of whites. There were a lot of people wearing white.
Okay.
There was a few greens, a couple of reds, but it was a lot of white. The people were trying to play because it was meet and greet. That was the first night. I think they should have changed that up to be like the third night. After people had a couple of drinks in them.
I mean, I feel like you should drink every night.
The second night, we had an army fatigue night.
First night was
army fatigue night was a funny night.
Oh, yeah. You were doing some slutty on fatigue stuff.
No, I'll tell you about that behind the scenes.
That's the off the air.
That's an off the air.
Somebody came up with no limit.
All right, guys.
So, yeah, it was good.
Never fails, huh?
It never fails. It was a good trip. So we have a guest. I want to get my guest on because she's been on hold for a minute. Beautiful young lady. Had a chance to talk to her about my vacation. She's been to Mexico before. She's from New York. I believe she said she is from Queens. No. Was it the Bronx? What did I miss? Where did I read that? No. I want to make sure I have it right. Knowledge wrote all this information here. And I want to make sure whatever he wrote doesn't go in vain. You know, Knowledge types up a whole book about everybody.
Let you know. You can't say he ain't.
I highlighted the stuff, but we'll ask her when she comes on. But she's a very intelligent young lady. She gets her writing from her mom, who read to her a lot, and she learned how to read since she was like 2 years old, which I feel like that's so amazing. She wrote for so many publications that we all have read in the past, in the future, like Double XL, The Source, The Vibe, The Village Voice, Rolling Stone. Like, wow, this one person, billboards, like Cosmic, Playboy. She wrote for a lot of magazines, allhiphop.com, and she wrote not just the Aaliyah book, all right, Baby Girl, better known as Aaliyah, but she also co-wrote God Save the Queen. No, she wrote God Save the Queens, and she co-wrote the book with Prodigy, the cookbook. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, she co-wrote that with him.
R.I.P.
So we're gonna talk to her about all the stuff that she's written and all her goals right now. And we're gonna give it up to my girl, Kathy Adoli. That's how you say your name?
Iandoli.
Iandoli, Italian.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Wait. The emoji. I'm like.
Knowledge about the applause. How you been, by the way, sister?
I mean, not as good as you jet setting in Mexico, but I'm cool.
I swear I'm still there. I think my mind, my body, my soul is just still there. I just got to bring it back to reality.
I mean, you could give it a couple more days, honestly.
Have a mimosa. Act like you're still there.
Right, exactly. That's probably what I need. Queen, how long have you been writing? You've been writing, Kathy, for almost everybody, like literally everybody.
Yeah, it's been over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What is your favorite thing about writing? Like, what's your favorite part? Is it the interviews with the artists? What is it?
It varies. I think when you get in the zone with an interview and you and the subject, the artist or whomever, like develop an actual connection while you're talking, the interview portion means so much. But if there's like a situation where maybe the interview had to be short, but you can create like this like full-bodied piece and talk about something bigger on top of the subject, then the writing part, I mean, the writing part is always rewarding, but if you make that like personal connection with the artist, that's something special, which is why I like doing books so much, because of the collaborative effort of people I got to talk to, the interviews, that whole process.
Oh, so you prefer writing for books more so than the magazines, per se?
Now I do.
Now.
Yeah.
Well, because you can get into more detail, you get to learn the character of the person more.
And it's not clickbait. I mean, no matter how much you try to remain pure in the art form, whatever you're delivering to a publication is with the intention of it hitting the web in some way, shape, or form to create a viral moment. With a book, you can kind of shape the narrative how you want and speak directly to the reader, as opposed to luring them in from a website, which, not to say I don't like the journalism still, I still very much do, but the book writing process is just like a whole different experience.
And you can take your time more with the book process, right? Is there a time limit to the book process, or you got more time as opposed to journalism?
It varies. I mean, the gift and the curse of when I do my books is I look at the picture like it's a content calendar for a website or an article. So when I pitch my books, it's with like understanding milestone moments that are happening in music history. And when you pitch those things, sometimes it creates like a really short lead time. So they may be like, can you get this to us in 10 months? And you're like, I guess.
Right.
But, you know, it has its pros and cons. I'm also a huge procrastinator.
So am I. I don't know what it is about working under pressure. And it's so horrible. Because the anxiety is like here. But if you take your time and do something, it feels like more like it's forever. But then, you have a deadline, and the closer you start the deadline, then the more your brain starts to work and you start to function and creative juices start to flow. I don't know why.
Yeah, if you give me 8 months, I'm spending 7 months grocery shopping. It's just not.
So what goes into the process in terms of getting ready to?
That's Smitty. You can't see him, but yeah.
Hi. So you said the process?
Yeah, what goes into the process for you to prepare your writing?
When I did God Save the Queens, there had not been a book on women in hip hop before, right? So you're talking about 4 decades of history.
Queen Latifah, it's a lot.
Yeah,
that sounds like a lot of. That sounds like a lot of prep work.
It was a lot, because the big undertaking was including all of the people who were never written about. So I had to, I had to do Roxanne Shante, but then I had to go back and do Us Girls, Debbie D, Shaw Rock, Lisa Lee, and the Mercedes Ladies. Like, if there has never been a comprehensive anthology, then you've got to be completely inclusive and accurate. So, and especially when you're talking about an era that predates journalism in the space, that makes it even harder, right? Especially as it pertains to women. So you're going out there and there's no magazine articles where you can read an interview from 1978 with
Yeah, they were
Rock.
mostly, yeah, exactly. There wasn't any, if you even found it, was probably like a picture and a paragraph of where they were at,
right.
what spot they did the show or whatever. You're right.
Yeah. So for me, that was really the word of mouth part was so important during that time period. But that was talking to as many people as you possibly could and understanding, and painting the picture of what the jams looked like and all that other stuff. So once you got to like the Shantae era, you started to see more journalism, like coverage of the culture. So it made it a little bit easier in terms of grabbing magazine articles and, watching more videos and things like that.
Yeah, because during that culture is when things started to get more popular. The awareness of hip hop was starting to be big. And yeah, absolutely.
More commercial.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Then as you ease into, like, you get out of the late 80s into the mid 90s, then there becomes more of like a critical lens, right? Because you start to see how the industry treats women once they start making money for the labels.
And the imaging starts to change too.
Yes, the pitting women against each other, and then
the putting women against each other, making them more sexual on stage, all of that.
So then you go into the early 2000s where there was a bit of a lull, and then the big upswing that was happening around 2008, and how the 12 years in between that were like spent. So that it became. It was like a roller coaster ride.
Right, it is, especially for women in hip hop. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That is so true. So true. So who was your most interesting artist to write about or to even interview?
Wow.
So many. How do you pick one? Because I'm sure all of them had some interesting twists with their life.
Of all time, I sound like Kanye. Of all time,
I don't know. How you feel? Because I know that's a difficult question to ask.
Which ones touched you the most, or which ones were the most?
Well, my hands down, my favorite interview is with Quincy Jones.
Nice.
Yeah.
And why was that? How was he?
Incredible. Like, it was. I'll never forget. We were in the interview. And he stops and he says to me, "Weren't you one of Aaliyah's friends?" And I was like, "No, but I wish." And he's like, "Yeah, you would have been her friend. You guys had like a similar vibe." And I was like,
"You know what's funny? You saying that because I look at you and I see her."
Don't. You're gonna.
No, you have
cry.
Your features. You have some features that remind me of her. And I'm not saying that because you wrote her biography, but when we were talking before, behind the scenes before we started, and I'm saying to myself, wow, I don't know if it's because the hat you're wearing, your hair is down, I don't know, but I do understand why he got that vibe from you.
Well, thank you. And I'm sure plenty of people disagree with you, but I appreciate the compliment.
I don't care if they disagree.
And I will think about that compliment every day of my life. But Aaliyah and I were the same age, right? So we came from a very specific time period in hip hop and R&B that shaped our identities, but then also she shaped so much of mine, right? So I mean, you're gonna have me crying, but that wasn't a thing about writing that book as well, where I was writing about a peer essentially. So I
never got a chance to meet Aaliyah, but it's just something about her energy and her spirit that me as a fan and all the other fans felt connected, even though a lot of us never got a chance to personally meet her. I used to work at Hot 97 during the 90s. I was like an intern, board up, producer of radio shows, and she was the one artist that used to come up that I always missed. Like I met almost everybody, even when Kiss and Hot was in the same building.
Yeah,
I met everybody, but she was the one artist that just left when I came in or something like that.
We have such a similar story. Like I used to show up to like events and they'd be like, "Oh, you just missed Baby Girl. I would have introduced you." And I'm like, "Urgh." Like, don't tell me that, you know?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, baby girl just left. Like, you know. But yeah.
But yeah, finish telling me about Quincy. So he said that
Yes,
you
but
would have
that-
been great friends
yeah.
with Aaliyah.
Which just, you know, I don't even know. And Quincy Jones is someone who, at this stage in the game, and even when I interviewed him, it was over a decade ago, almost 2 decades ago, really, if I'm thinking about it. He was an open book and he just had stories, right? And he told me this one story. I think they were at Katz's Deli. Kidada
In
and
New
Tupac.
York?
Yeah, Kidada and Tupac.
That's my deli.
Me too.
$50 a sandwich.
I was about to
But
say,
y'all,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
$100 bologna sandwich. It don't matter what you getting in.
Yeah, sandwiches are like the price of a Bentley, but like I think it was Kelly. And Tupac and Kidada were having dinner. And Quincy came in and behind Tupac goes, "Boo," right? And that was the first time Tupac met Quincy Jones, like in that capacity. And he was telling me that story of how he sat down, like one-on-one, like, what's your intentions with my daughter? And like, it was just a really cool story. And he was just, when you've done that much and you are just known for being so unapologetically authentic, I always found that the greater the legend, the more personable. That has been a common theme with the artists that I've interviewed.
Nice.
If you have reached a legendary status, you're usually like a really great person to talk to. It's artists who like are like 2 steps above just getting started that think that like,
oh yes.
Yeah.
And you know what, I have to agree with that because they start to feel themselves, you know, this is the first time they're making this money and now they don't know how to act and the ego gets in the way and now they feel like they're kings and queens, like literally kings. Yeah, you're right. And then they get knocked down a couple of notches, reality sets in, and then they humble themselves.
Yeah, you know what it reminds me of? When tourists come to New York City and they have this built-in mentality that they have to act rude to be a New Yorker. So they just like come in and they're just like super like, you know, look tough. And it's like, that's not really what New Yorkers look like. Like,
right. We're not really like that. We're actually nice people.
Yeah.
So, but you know, the misconception because we always rush into the next part. I get it. I get it. So writing this book, Baby Girl. I know that was a touching moment for you.
It was, yeah.
How did you get through the book?
I'll be honest, it wasn't easy because I wrote it in the heart of lockdown. So you're talking about like one of your favorite artists dying, essentially, right? And so many people were dying from COVID. And my mother had passed away 2 years prior, so I was still grieving. So it was a dark moment as a writer. And getting through, I wrote the death chapter first. I was like, because I wanted to end with her still being alive. Right? It's like watching the end of the movie like watching your movie backwards almost. So that's kind of what I did. And it helped me get through the process a lot easier than I think it would have if I did it like chronologically, because I didn't want to end on her passing away. So it was difficult writing that during the heart of COVID. I'm not going to lie. And I mean, it's such a unique experience. And I remember like people used to say to me, wow, it must be like so amazing to write a book while you're in lockdown because you have nowhere else to go. And I'm like, are you joking? Imagine trying to be creative while you're locked in your house, counting your groceries and wiping your shit down. Right? Like that's not a fun environment to make art.
No, it's not. A lot of people need a different type of environment, like to be outside. I've seen writers go to the park and sit under a tree and write, you know, and
Where does she like to go to be creative?
I'm sorry?
Kat, where do you like to go to be in your creative zone? So you wrote this book while you were during this pandemic in your house, locked down, can't go anywhere. But where's your usual spot to go right?
Okay, I have a very specific. Before this whole pandemic started,
Mm-hmm.
I had a very specific method that I would tap into my creativity. Okay,
Okay, and what's that?
I would wake up in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I would go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
I would go to my favorite spot to get tea,
Mm-hmm.
and I would do a secondary walk around, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would go to the market, and sometimes I wouldn't even buy anything, but I would walk around the market. Like, looking at vegetables just inspires me. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I was,
What particular vegetable?
I mean, I'm a little basic. Don't like, no, not eggplant emojis, you know. I see where you're,
I was thinking more like cucumber, but okay.
Okay. I mean, I'm emoji wired right now. It's
Okay.
imagine if I'm like husks of corn, bananas. No. But I'm like a geek. I'm like kale. But
Kale.
kale and alkalized water, like, you know. But just the environment of just walking around, like, I don't know. And then I would
other
either
people's energy, I guess. Maybe you feed off of people's energy that's walking around.
well, it depends.
Energy is good and could be good for creativity.
It can. Well, as an empath, sometimes it's hard. If somebody's in a bad mood, it ruins my day. So sometimes I got to be real careful. And you know, I wear I wear the crystals on me to make sure that I'm taking it in, but taking it back out.
Right.
But what I'll do is, like, I would do that, and then I would come back to my desk and write, and it would be productive. Or there would be days where I would just wake up and I would go right to a cafe and I would just post up for the day. I lost all of that in the pandemic. I didn't want to go to my gym. My gym closed down.
Yeah.
So I had this sad little treadmill in my apartment and my punching bag. So I would have to get up and walk to my office and do my little workout. And there's something like super sad about doing a workout in your home, and I don't know why. Like, I lost the ritual of going to the gym, right?
Mm-hmm. We all did, because I'm still trying to get to that point.
The fact that you got to do it on vacation is a big plus.
You know what? I do that every vacation, and I'm gonna tell you why.
What kind of vacation is that?
Because I like to. Let me tell you, I like to drink and I like to eat when I go on vacation. But I don't. You're going to gain weight, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to come back gaining too much weight. You understand?
And I'm sure for women that it's a big.
I lose weight before I go.
And then came back,
and then come back, and then I have to work out so I can enjoy my eating. I don't want to be stressed out about eating on vacation. And it also gives me, working out is not always, I'm sorry, Kathy, but maybe you can agree with me on this. She said she works out before she goes do her writing. She has a routine. She goes to her favorite coffee or tea spot. She walks around the grocery store. She does a walk routine. She works out. Sometimes that working out is good for your mental.
Yes.
And when you're on vacation, you don't know what kind of energy or what kind of people you're going to be around.
Indeed.
So you need that kind of space mentally and physically to endure what energy is going to come throwing at you. It's not always about maintaining weight.
Right.
It's about freeing your mind to be able to open to new things.
Right.
And, and that's one of the reasons why I work out. And on vacation, the second part is so I can eat whatever I goddamn believe.
She worked out the whole time.
Yo, I am ready for the pancakes. Let's get it. Right, Kathy? Don't you agree?
I mean, amen. I work out on vacation too. I went on vacation in June and I tried to go to the gym at the hotel with my mask on. I almost like fell off the elliptical and I was like, okay, so this isn't working. So I was like, let me just do I was just walking the beach. Like, I was in Fort Lauderdale and I was just like, all right, I'm just going to do this 25 times. So
beach workouts are good too.
In the sand, especially.
Yeah, especially the sand.
Yeah.
You doing that kind of workout? You working out on vacation? I'm working on a different kind of way.
I was gonna say the reason, obviously, especially
You know what I'm saying?
as a DJ, the reason why I cannot
Men
work
don't
out on
get
vacation. I mean, you know what I do on vacation? I make sure I do my push-ups.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
like,
you do
but
what
that's
I-
me warming up to going. But
You're
So doing push-ups is a workout.
yeah,
they're exercising their Hennessy arm.
You know?
and I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I do push-ups at the party. Like,
At the party.
I do that. I do my
You
push-ups.
said at 20 right before you get
So I'm really quickly. Me and my homeboy created this thing called Shot 25.
That's
So every time you
Oh,
take
boy.
a shot, that's 25 push-ups. It don't matter
I'm
where
gonna
you
show
at.
you who they are.
that's big. I hope I leave with some numbers energy.
Absolutely. There
Like,
you go.
oh,
and it keeps our energy up. It keeps the adrenaline going. So the more I do that, the better I'll be throughout the night.
and then girls see you doing push-ups and they're like, oh,
Yeah, see, there we go.
And
Now,
I'm
there you go,
like,
Catherine. There you go, Catherine. You just hit it on the
Yeah.
head, girl.
yeah, you're like he's not doing push-ups for shot 25. He just wants to be somebody's mistake on vacation. Like,
Oh, not the mistake though.
He said not the mistake. You hoping it's not a mistake, right? You hoping it's like ooh, maybe it's
you try to be the fourth photo in the vacation photo dump. That's what you want. You don't want to be somebody's arm in a flight.
Tell me more about Baby Girl, better known as Aaliyah. Tell me more about that book.
So the book I feel like was a long time coming just in general. I think that, there had been other books about Aaliyah in the past, but there had never been a book that discussed how in the 20 years since she passed away, just an incredible impact that she had. Like, now that her music is on streaming, I feel that we are really seeing just how influential she was over today's generation of artists.
Oh, she was very much so.
Mm-hmm.
I will have to say that who would I have in my mind to say that Aaliyah influenced her? Keep going, and it'll come to my head. Go ahead, continue.
I mean, there's a lot like Normani, Tinashe, Janae Aiko, Kalani. Like you can hear her, you can feel
Sierra.
her.
That's
Sierra,
what
yeah.
Baby Girl reminded me when Sierra first came out. Did she not remind you of Aaliyah, especially when she was working with Missy and Timbaland?
I mean, that was.
And Aaliyah,
Yeah,
I mean, Sierra has her own dancing style. She's an incredible dancer.
absolutely.
But her sounds, her movement, like
It's inevitable. You know what I'm saying? When you watch someone, especially growing up, and not to say that you want to be exactly like them, but it's
they
how do you not
influence your
incorporate
career.
that sometimes, you know what I
Absolutely,
mean?
absolutely. And I think that's one of the reasons why I am a big Sierra fan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because she reminds me so much of Aaliyah. All right, I'm sorry, Kathy.
No, shout out to Sierra. But yeah, I think that like because Aaliyah's music wasn't on streaming platforms, it's easy to, I don't want to say it's easy to forget, but it's easy to overlook just how influential her music was too.
As well as her acting.
As well, yeah. I mean, Aaliyah was one of those artists who had her eye on the prize like the moment she hit the industry. Like she knew that she was gonna do this, boom, boom, boom. Like it would have been crazy if like Aaliyah and Rihanna collaborated. Like sometimes I think about the things that Aaliyah could be doing right now in a space where, you have all like, Fenty Beauty, and there's so many just ways to pivot in this industry. And I know that Aaliyah would have tackled all of it. And that was a part in like writing the book that you just get progressively more upset because you think of all the what ifs.
And what we were looking forward to see. Like her movie career was just starting to pick up.
Yeah, like those scenes from The Matrix Reloaded, and if she would have if the Matrix stones would have come out, it would have sealed her fate, 100%.
Beautiful spirit. Yeah, everybody misses her. Like it's not one Aaliyah song that we don't hear that we don't love. Like she just was incredible artist.
So special.
And I'm so happy you wrote the book. And
Thank you.
Family's blessings on that. And you just seem like a really cool spirit anyway. I love how you represent your mom
Yeah.
with the scholarship. Tell us more about the scholarship.
So we're still in the process of figuring out, especially in the pandemic, how to orchestrate this. But it's called Annie's Daughters, and it's a scholarship that works with Yellow Brick. That's also affiliated with a university where I'll be picking young women who want to work in the music industry and learn more about it in kind of this like course module, and get them the scholarships to get these courses. I think as someone, I I'm newly appointed professor at NYU, so
Yes, which is
All
what
right.
is it? The Tisch
Yeah.
School? Are you in the Tisch School?
it's a Steinhardt, the music business
Okay.
program.
All right,
So-
because I graduated from the Tisch School.
Oh, that's awesome! I graduated from Steinhardt,
Nice.
Steinhardt Stern program. Like it was a
Stern
combined
part, the
program.
business part, yeah.
Mhm.
Nice, nice, nice.
NYU. We just get along. It's a vibe. Like that's like you can always tell who went to NYU.
Mm-hmm.
Like
It's a unique university. Like it's
It
the only
is.
university that represents, of course, New York, NYU, New York University, because it's in the heart of the village, which is a
Yeah.
free spirit community environment and in itself. And then it still have buildings around the city.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the hospital has a branch in Brooklyn now. So
Oh wow, that's what's up.
yes, NYU Langone, which
Oh,
my
yeah.
job happens to be affiliated with, which is
Oh
so ironic.
wow.
And you know, NYU has their organization really focuses on the education of their students, regardless of what major they're in.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in the arts, they're gonna make sure you get the full potential and the full.
Yeah, do ballet.
Yeah, I had a scholarship for that. I was a dance major
Okay.
at
Amazing.
Tisch School of the Arts, and I did
I didn't
ballet.
say that just now.
No, but they
Oh,
do.
sorry.
The Tisch School of the Arts is fully art. There's a dance program, there's the film, there's the radio, there's the television program, there's the costume
Now you're getting
program where they make costumes, and then there's the makeup department where they do makeup for theater. Like it's real. This is for you to learn how to work in the theater and the film and television industry. There's cameras. It's set up like a TV set. If the radio station is a real radio station, that's where a lot of Bobby Condas and Bobby Condas used to come up and do the reggae show.
Right.
Like a lot of hip hop legends went to that radio station for interviews first. 89.9 FM. No, 89.1 FM. And then they have the law program, which was no joke. And the Stern Business School was difficult to get into.
Yeah.
You have to be top notch to get into that business school. And then of course, they got the doctor's program, the nursing program. Like NYU is something not to mess with. If you got a degree from NYU, you are the bomb.
Yeah.
The alumni is digging the school up real hard.
That's right. Because first of all, you pay a lot of money to go to that.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
So you better rep yourself.
Yeah.
It's
I'm still paying for it.
amen. So am I. It's an expensive name drop. That's what it is.
Expensive, but it's worth it because
Yeah.
you get people like Spike Lee as your professor in film.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's still a professor there. Like who? Where else are you going to get that?
Right.
Agreed.
You know, I mean, Columbia University, yeah, what up? But NYU is
You
the
do
school.
that to him like that?
Yes, I am.
Yes, I am.
Nah, you just it's a New York vibe, totally.
Yeah.
And even when you don't, if you from New York, you want to live on a dorm at NYU. You don't want to be traveling. So, but it's worth it. But yeah. So you got this scholarship you're still working on. I think that's amazing. Women need a lot support, especially in the industry
Yeah, absolutely.
dominated by men.
Still.
So, it's gotten a little better, but still some challenges and still some things that need to be done. But I love this scholarship. And can anybody donate towards the scholarship? Is there any process of that? Or you guys still trying to work that part out?
we're trying to figure out kind of like the logistics of it and how it's going to work. It's more that we're trying to get the girls who are applying and putting like their essays together and things like that. I'm trying to figure out how it's going to all come together. You know, everything kind of went on hold with COVID.
You know what age you should
College.
put it out to?
What's the
College.
age?
I believe it's 18 to
18.
20, or 17, 18 years old.
So is it like seniors in high school, right? Or is it freshman year?
Yeah, like last year of high school going in, because it's not a formal, obviously, university program, but you're getting that university training kind of condensed. So, and Yellow Brick is cool with that.
Any little scholarship will help pay for education. And is it only for NYU students, or is it going to be for other schools?
No, it's for Yellow Brick's
you just said that.
Of course, e-education program. Mm-hmm.
Right. Absolutely. I love it. I think that's amazing. I compliment you on that.
Thank you.
So amazing. So you were reading at the age 3. That's incredible. Do you remember what you were doing at 3 years old, Gallo?
Not at all.
I think I was still
Not at all.
doing in my diapers. I don't know.
No,
Hopefully not. I should be walking by then, right? Talking
I mean,
a
you
little
still
bit.
wear the diaper, but 3?
Nah, it's a pull-up age. I don't even know. It's been so long.
Yeah, you would pull-ups coming out of the pull-ups.
Coming out potty training,
Yeah.
reading, maybe saying. I should be saying my alphabets by then. Numbers,
Yes.
right? Yeah, maybe a little reading, but you were reading.
You do stuff. You do stuff.
Yeah,
Cassie was reading at 3. we were still saying that is pink, and she was like, "That is pink," and the house is this, right?
I'm like, that's not pink, that's fuchsia. No.
If you do future at 3.
Yeah,
you were
exactly.
doing-
Yes, exactly. That's my point. She was reading on like
she had the crayon box with the
what
64
level
colors
you would
in it.
say you were reading on, like a 5th grade level, probably.
5th grade level at 3 years old. My mother was, she had a master's in education with a focus in brain research. So
I gotta talk about that with you, but go ahead.
Yeah, so the thing about my mother's brain, like a genius. Like I could never feel the shoes of my mother. Her mind, the way her mind worked was incredible. And as a kid, my mother was always the most amazing mother, but she was very hands-on as in terms of like preparing me for the road ahead to when I got into school. But as a baby, my mother, reading speech comes from your legs. So when you do the pedal time with a child, it's to strengthen their legs, but it's also to get you talking faster.
Really?
Yeah, it's your motor skills have everything to do with your ability to speak.
Wow. Did you know that?
My kids are just like, what?
I wish I knew that. I would have had Terrell pedaling.
Wait, can she say that again?
She said your mobile skills helps with
your motor skills, yeah.
Helps with your ability to speak.
So I mean, do we force the kids to like start walking?
No, you take their legs and you never pedal your baby's legs to straighten. When the babies are tight, you loosen their legs up like that. Yeah.
But even that helps.
Yeah, because that's their mobile skills.
Yeah, and I think that's what led to me talking early because I walked very early.
Okay.
I walked at like 6 months and I was talking by 9.
That's way early.
Yeah. And then
I was walking at 9 months.
Yeah, and by the time I was going like 18 months old, I was spelling 5 words. That was the big thing. My mother used to always be like, she's spelling 5 words by 18 months. And then by the time I was 3, I was reading full books.
Wow. That's amazing.
What my mother did was my mother used to get me graphic novels of all the classics. So I knew I had like a very basic understanding of all of the American classics before I started 1st grade.
Mm-hmm.
So I went in and already knew what A Tale of Two Cities was about. I already knew about Shakespeare. Like I already knew everything. So when I got into school in like first grade, they wanted to skip me to third. And my mother was like, I'm not doing that to her. Like, that's not happening. And then when I got to third grade, they wanted to skip me to fifth. And when I got to fifth grade, they wanted to skip me to eighth. And my mom would always be like, no, but what they used to do to me, and it was the worst, was they used to make me take my books, and for reading, math, and comprehension, English, all that stuff, I used to have to walk to the other grades. So I was always this little kid in the grown classes sitting with my books, and I couldn't be with my friends. And that sucked. But I was always learning, you know.
Yeah, she's very smart.
Copy the answers.
But when I got to eighth grade, there was nothing for me to learn on those fronts, and
Right.
that's actually when I started writing,
Okay.
because I had nothing better to do in English class.
Right.
I took that class in fifth grade.
Right, because they put you in that class, regardless of what your mother said.
Yeah.
Do you write any poetry at all?
I used to. Oh my gosh, I used to write. Oh God, I used to write raps about days of our lives.
Really? The soap opera?
Sure did.
Oh,
Sure
wow.
When there was a scene that I didn't like or I did like, I would write a rap about the scene, and I would show my mother, and she would be like, "That's wonderful, honey." Like, what do you even do? I'm like, Mom, Jack and Jennifer broke up. I have things to say about this. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was the worst. And then, I mean, I say 1989 was the year I was 10 years old. That was the year that like hip hop hit me, right?
Right.
My first video I saw was Ladies First, and
Ladies first.
I was like, oh my gosh. And then, but what really sealed the deal for me was 1992 when TLC came out. Like, oh my gosh. Like, I wanted to be Left Eye so badly.
Rest in peace to her.
Rest in peace to Left Eye. My goodness. Incredible talent.
Yes, absolutely. So can we get these books? I'm sure we can, right? Can people purchase your books that you have?
Absolutely. Commissary Kitchen, my infamous prison cookbook with Prodigy, rest in peace. That's out. God Save the Queens, The Essential History of Women in Hip Hop. That's out. Baby Girl, better known as Aaliyah. That's out. Can I Mix You a Drink with T-Pain comes out on November 2nd. Mm-hmm. So that's coming out.
Where do we get them? Amazon.
Yeah, and wherever books are sold. Yeah.
Wherever books are sold.
I have an Oracle card deck that's dropping on November 23rd called the Hip Hop Queens Oracle Deck, where I assign inspirational messages to women in hip hop and R&B. Mm-hmm. And then in March of 2022, the Queen Bee with Little Kim. We got her book coming.
Nice. So, are you working with her with that, or are you doing that?
Yeah. Kim and I wrote that book together. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Mm-hmm. I know that's going to be a really good story.
Oh my goodness. I mean, Kim, this is such a long time coming for her.
Mm-hmm. She deserves to have her story told, really and truly.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we go, mm-hmm. what advice would you give to our future writers right now? Because it's a different time from when I was in school. It's with the whole technology and how to get your stuff out. What would be your advice?
Well, I say a couple things, okay? Mm-hmm. First off, figure out what your end game is. If your end game is to be behind a microphone or a camera, pursue that first. Don't become a writer in the hopes of becoming a podcaster, or don't become a writer in the hopes of becoming a red carpet person. If that's the thing you want to do, go right into broadcasting. Mm-hmm. Shape those skills as a person-to-person, interaction. Writing right now, understand that, and this has remained the same for like damn near a decade, it is a lot easier to get $100 from 10 places than $1,000 from one. Mm-hmm. So understand that it's going to be
different places you're writing for.
Yes. And build a resume based on what you bring to the table. Like, you be the person that delivers a very specific thing, so that when that specific thing comes up, you're the only person who could do it.
Right.
Or one of the only people who could do it. Study the art of the interview. I suggest a book called The New Journalism. I always suggest that book. Teaches you about interview techniques. Don't come into your interviews trying to be the star of the show. Like, you know, your writing is the star. You're not the star.
Where's Majestic at?
Keep it light. What's wrong with you?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
With you?
Oh
No,
my God.
that was an inside joke. My bad. Sorry.
No. But if that's a very, you know, it's a very specific understanding of the goals that you have in mind, but also sharpening your interpersonal skills so that can translate into the article that you're writing. And if you are feeling like nothing is happening, to quote Biggie, stay low and keep firing.
Excellent. That's all great advice. Thank you so much, Kathy, for taking the time
Thank you,
and
Nat.
sitting with us at Digital Empire Nation Radio
I
Show.
really like this lady. What's her Instagram?
Oh, what's your Instagram? They want to know your Instagram. So we can find it.
Kath3000, KATH 3000.
Got it?
KTH 3000.
Yes, that's it. That's her Instagram. Thank you again.
Thank you so much for
are the
having me.
greatest. When you come to the city, please hit up Knowledge so we can meet you in person.
That's right.
Yes, I would love that.
We can do our run together.
Oh my gosh.
Let's go.
Let's go to NYU and just pose in front of buildings.
I would love that. Let's do that.
Like that's an Instagram moment.
Yes, let's go do that. When you come to New York, whenever you do, all right, hit up Knowledge and we'll hook up.
I will for sure.
All right, baby.
All right.
Be safe.
Take care. Bye. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Take care.
All right.
All right, bye.
Let's play some music, Gallo.
Let me see you go.